It is pretty easy to work with, and the smell is pretty unique as well. I don't think I've ever smelled any other wood like it. It kind of has a flowery sweetness smell to it, if that makes sense. Kind of like a perfume, but it really is unique. I'm not going to be doing much painting, but that's mainly just to keep the lip protected, so that way when I'm sanding or working on the lure, I don't scuff up the lip. I use baking soda and super glue to install the lip. A trick that I learned is to use the Scotch tape and put that on the lip before I add the painter's tape. Just that way, when you're taking off all the tape, you don't have as much of that glue left behind that you do have from the painter's tape. It's not really a big deal if you do have that. You can just use some oil or soap or whatever to get it off of the lip, but I just found that it's pretty easy to use that tape and do 2 layers, and it ends up pretty good. Since I'm using a wood I've never used before, I'm not going to add much paint to this lure. All I'm going to do is add some white to the belly to cover up those lead holes, and also add some gill plates. Definitely not the cleanest gills I've ever made, but I think it looks alright. And I was going to add some scales and some stripes, maybe some more detail, but once I start doing that, I think I'll end up doing too much and you won't be able to see all of the grain in the wood. So I'm just going to leave it like that. Very simple and basic, but I think it'll end up pretty neat, especially considering that the clear coat will bring out a lot of color in the wood. I'm actually going to add 2 more details, and that is this stripe here on the tail and then the fins on the side. I almost forgot to do that. So other than that, that's all I'm going to do. Again, keeping it really simple and basic, but I think it'll end up pretty cool. So for this lure, I'm going to be using my new UV clear coat that I got. And if you didn't see the last video, I made this UV clear coating box. So this is what we're going to put the lure in to set. Basically, just has this door that comes down, and the aluminum foil is to balance the light off of all the walls to be able to hit every side of the lure. And then I have this light on the side. You turn that on, and then that'll allow that UV resin to set. So pretty cool. If you're new to the channel, I usually dip my lures into the clear coat. So This is going to be interesting to try to figure out what the best way to clear coat the lure without wasting too much resin. Also, I'll have links to the resin, the UV light, basically all the tools and things that I use in today's video down in the description below. I think I might actually be able to dip it. It just barely fits in there. It's looking pretty good. Now I'm going to put it in the UV box. This is definitely an upgrade to what I previously had. That other stuff that I would use, I would have to wait a day or two at least to be able to test it out, the lure, or go fishing with it. But for this one, really all it takes is a couple minutes per side and it'll be fully set. So that is a finished up Cherrywood lure. I think it turned out really cool, and the grains ended up looking really neat with the clear coat. I can't remember if I mentioned earlier, but that was my first time using the UV clear coat. I think it definitely turned out really cool. Makes it look much more professional and has a really good solid coat on it. I think the action ended up pretty good with it as well. It doesn't have a ton of action, but I think it'll act as a really good suspended jerkbait because it really has a slow sink, and then I can kind of twitch it throughout the middle of the water column, which I think will end up working really good, and hopefully I'll catch some fish with it. Also, at the time that I'm recording this video, we actually just got 500 subscribers, so thank you guys so much for that and your support. With that being said, thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed the video, and we'll see you in the next one.